Oh, how's it going, everybody? So, we're back for another edition of All In, where I'll pick a rock artist, I'll listen to the entire discography, and I'll discuss my thoughts on here. And the rules go like this: it must be all original studio albums, at least all original studio albums. Cover albums can be included, and the artist in question must have a minimum of five albums. And this does not include greatest hits or live albums or acoustic albums. Or if it does include, say, acoustic or live albums, it's got to be tracks that were original in that form. But anyhow, let's get started. So, I don't know if you can tell by the shirt. I don't know how well you can see that. But, yes, as I said in the last video, we're in Germany. So, this week we feature Rammstein. That's right. So, as far as how I got into listening to them, I remember, I would say it was probably, I know I was a senior in high school when I first really started hearing them on the radio. They came out with a song, Du Hast, and it blew up like almost overnight here in the States. But before Du Hast, we really didn't know anything about them. But kind of a personal memory though. I remember that GMC had bought this album, Sehnsucht. He bought this album in cassette form, and I remember we'd be riding the Votech bus for a half hour each way every day, so like an hour total of bus riding, going from homeschool to Votech. And the bus driver would either play, like, they would have a country day, and then they would have like a pop day. And it's like, yeah, this shit sucks. This shit really sucks. So, me and GMC, to tell you how dated this story is, like I said, he had it in cassette form. We'd bring our Walkmans on the bus and listen to our own shit. And I remember, like, he let me borrow that tape the one day when we were on the bus. And honestly, I was pretty blown away by it. But I'll get more into my thoughts on that album here in a few minutes in this video. So, as far as Rammstein themselves go, so their discography, they debuted with the album Herzaloid. I think that's how you mention it, or how they mention it. So Herzaloid back in 1995, and then you go all the way to 2022 with their latest album, Zit, or Zit. Is it Zit? I don't know. So that's a unique thing about them. They sing pretty much in German. Like, just about everything they do is in German. So, like, half the times I don't know what the hell they're saying, but okay, so we'll start off with Herzaloid. So, it would be this album right here. So, I do have maybe about half of them on physical. So, we have Walt das Bet in Fleming, Sin, and, yeah, in English it means, do you want to see the bed in flames? So, yeah, good old wiki. They can translate it now. You got Der Meister, the Master, Rhesus Fretch, which is white flesh, Azut, yeah, I can't even pronounce it, Ashes to Ashes. Then you got Seaman, which means sailor, makes sense. Dretch so gut, you smell so good. Ooh, that could be a sexual song. Then you got Das Outlaid, which means the old sorrow. Herete Mish, which means marry me. Herzaloid, which is the title track, Heartbreak. Let's Eat, which is Spawning Time, and then you got the band song Rammstein. And I didn't hear this album until I heard Sehnsucht. This is one of those deals where I sort of stepped back to this one after I loved Sehnsucht so much. So not as good as Sehnsucht, but I still like it. It's pretty good. So then we move on, obviously, to Sehnsucht. So, yeah, like I said a little bit earlier in the video, love this album, love every track about it. Now, in this version of it, they got like two hidden tracks where the Engel, which means angel, that song was done in English, and then they also did Du Hast in English, which means you have. So here the track listing goes: Sehnsucht, title track, Engel, Tier, Bestra Mish, Du Hast, Buchtisch, Spiel mit mir, Clever, Alterman, Efferschucht, and Kusmish. So, translating them all, you have desire, longing, angel, animal, punish me, you have, bend over, yeah, that one's for Bookdish. Then you got play with me, piano, old man, jealousy, and kiss me for frog. Okay. And then there was an even later edition that also had the song Stripped, which was a Depeche Mode cover. Which I didn't actually hear that until a little bit later, but yeah, I have the version that has like the two English tracks as hidden tracks. But yeah, very good album. Definitely recommend it. So then we move on to their third album, Mutter. This coming out in 2001, right here. So we start off with Minehurst Brent, Links 234, Sony, or is it Sunny? Ich Will, Fever Frey, Mutter, which is the title track. It's Spilher, Zwitter, Ryan Ross, Adios, and Nebel. So, let's see. In English, they mean My Heart Burns, Left 234, Son, I Want, Open Fire, Mutter means Mother. So yeah, that'd be the title track. So really, that album is Mother. You got Music Box. Zwitter means hermaphrodite. There we go. We learn something every day here on the whip. Ryan Ross means in out. Adios means goodbye, which I thought the Spanish used that term for goodbye, and Nebel means fog. And I'm kind of the theme I noticed with Rammstein is like every time you start an album, it's like they always have like a really good opening track to it. Like I thought Minehurst Brent was really awesome, just the way to start it off. But then we go to 2004's Rise Rise. So here, yeah, that means arise, arise in English. So here we have Rise Rise, Mein Teil, which means my part. Dalai Lama, no translation here. Klein Lust means no desire. You got Los meaning no divide. And then you have America, which that song's kind of odd. Like that song is like mostly in English, believe it or not. It's like one of the couple of English songs they did. And then you got Moscow, which obviously means Moscow. And then Morningstar means Morning Star. And then you got Stein, Stone by Stone. One Dish, which means without you. And then Amar, which means love. And, I mean, quite honestly, again, they started off with something good on the beginning, like Rise Arise. They're like, hey, guess what? We're back. That's kind of how that track sounds when they come back. Like when they start off the album. So then we move on. We're into 2005, the next year, with Rosenrot, or Rosenroot, I think that's how they pronounce it. So, starting off, we have Benzene, which means gasoline. Man Gegen Man, which means man against man. Rosenrot means Rose Red. That would be the title track, so Rose Red would be the title of the album. Then you got Spring, which means jump. Then you got Wo bist du, which means where are you? You got Stribnicht vor mir, don't die before I do. And that's kind of like a ballad type track there, where they got like a chick vocalist involved here, where she like they sing in German and then she sings in English. Like it's actually a cool song on how they do that. So you got Zatorian, which means destroy. Half Mir, which means help me. Tu quella puta, that's actually in Spanish, which means I love you, whore. So I guess puta means whore. So yeah, I guess that's the only Spanish song I know of that they did. You got Fewer an Wasser, which means fire and water, and then they end with Inlaid, which means a song. So yeah, good stuff there. So then they take about a 4-year break from the studio to come out with Lib is for Alada. And that one came out in 2009. So here we start off with Ramalid, which means Ram Song. You got Ik Tu Der We, which means I hurt you. Weapons Tail, which means Herdman's Salute. You got Hatfish, which means shark. And then you got they got that all bleeped out. I don't even know what the hell that is. But anyhow, it means bucket stew. Then the next track is Furring in Paris, which means springtime in Paris. And then, this one sounds funny. Wiener Blut, which in English it's Viennese blood. I almost thought it said wiener butt. And then after that, you got the really funny song off of this one. Probably the top single. It's called Pussy. And that is, I think that's like another one of their English songs. They sing it all in English. It goes something like, you got a pussy! I got a dicka! It's hilarious. Even the music video is so vulgar that, like, if MTV was still relevant as far as videos go, they would ban it. Like, it's damn near pornographic. Like, there's actually boobs in the video. But I guess over there they're a lot more liberal about that. But yeah, that's the song Pussy. Very awesome song. Very funny song at that. I would say that's the highlight there of the CD. And then you got Lieb is for Alada, which means love is there for everyone. And then Mir meaning more. And then we end with Rotor Sand, which means red sand. And yeah, here again, this is one of those bands that never really changed their sound at all throughout the years. Like, like most bands that have, 5, 6, 7, 8 albums. I mean, you notice there's like a lot of changes here and there whenever you hear the whole discography. But here, yeah, not much change. It's the same old Rammstein. So then we move on, and they did do a greatest hits album in 2011. It was called Made in Germany 95 to 2011, and they did an exclusive track to that album called Mineland, which means my land. So then the band after that they take a hiatus, and then lead singer Till he goes off and does his solo thing for a while, and then for the first time in 10 years in 2019 we get the Untitled album, or I guess others would just call it Rammstein, whichever. So here we come back with Deutschland, and again, it's like they came back and they kicked down the door with this track. Very awesome track. And in parentheses it says Germany. So then we have, the second track would be Radio, or as they say, Radio. You got Zeitdish, which means show yourself. You got Auslander, which means foreigner. And then there's a song called Sex. Then you got Puppy, which means doll. You got West Ich Lib, which means which I love, or what I love. Diamond, which means diamond. Wigwag, which means far away. And then you got the song Tattoo. And then Hello Man, which means hello man announcer. So yeah, they really came back with this album. Like, I was actually impressed with it when I first heard it. But yeah, definitely Deutschland was definitely the top track on this. Radio, as they say, another good one. Even I like Tattoo also. That's definitely a good track. And then we move on to their latest album in 2022 called Zeet. And so here they start off with Army der Tresen, which means Army for the dreary ones. And then you got Zeet, which is a title track, meaning time. You got Schwarz, meaning black. You got Giftig, meaning toxic. And then Zigzag, which means snip snap. And then OK, one condom. Is that me? Oh yeah, without a condom. Oh, that's hilarious. And you got mean Tränen, which means my tears. Angst meaning fear. You got Dick Titan, which means big tits. This might be their horniest album yet. Then you have Logan, which means lies. And then we end with I Do, which means farewell. But yeah, again, another good album. I liked all the albums like all the way through, but I would say like if I'm ranking favorites and least favorites, we're just gonna do like one big era here on this one. You know, since they sound pretty much the same throughout the whole time, and I don't know about my least favorite. I would say maybe my least favorite. I don't know. I would say Rosenrot. My favorite, obviously, would be Sing Zucht. Why? I would say it just for, like, sentimental reasons. Just, you know, like, anytime I hear Sing Zucht, it's kind of like a step back in time, like, back in high school. But I kind of remember, like, they had a lot of controversy here in the States when they first got popular. I remember they were performing live, and they actually ended up getting arrested for doing, like, crude sex acts on stage. Even though they weren't, like, actually sex acts, they were just, like, pretending to do sex acts or whatever. And I guess, like, too many people here in the States were offended, and they got arrested for it. And then, another thing I remember is when Columbine happened, which was very, very unfortunate. And, of course, they got blamed for, like, encouraging the... Or they got blamed for influencing the Trenchcoat Mafia. Or people were... Basically, Rammstein was like a scapegoat to all that, I thought. Yeah, as far as all that goes, I mean, yeah, I would say definitely one of my favorite bands out of Germany. Maybe my favorite band from Germany. But yeah, they actually did a couple live albums too, like this one here, Live Us Berlin. And this was recorded back when they were only maybe 2 albums in, so you kind of got a combination of the first 2 albums and live tracks here, but yeah, still pretty damn good. I would say, like, they're another band, like, I never saw them live in person, but I have seen videos, and the pyrotechnics is crazy, you know, with all the fire and stuff they do. So, I would love for them to come to the States again. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the band Rammstein, or, sorry, I pronounced it wrong, Rammstein. So, next time, we're going to do this band, I don't know if you guys heard of them or not, I think they're called Metallica? I don't know, tune in next time and find out.